Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I'm your other co-host, Drukshuk. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 17 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. And, of course, welcome to today's first Alcohol Anonymous meeting right here.
Yeah, both of us have had way too much to consume for Sunday
Yep.
because painful games to witness,
Painful.
because of multiple reasons.
Yep. If you, and to quote Urinating Tree, tonight on Hold My Liquor and Days of Our, and yes, we do have a Days of Our Steelers.
Yes, we do. Because the Steelers, as we'll get to it, did not really perform that well on week 4. So without further ado, we are going to be breaking down what happened in week 4 and the misery that our teams caused us and what we think is going to happen in week 5. Hopefully both our teams get a win, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So before we get started with that, let's do some Dhamakedar news.
Lead the way.
So first bit of news. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Davante Adams is requesting a trade.
Whoa!
Out of Las Vegas. This is what you get for betraying the cheese lord. Davante, this is what you get. Because you know what's happened is he hates it. It sucks. And I'm going to discuss this in a little bit, but the situation there is not good for him. He went there specifically to play with his college buddy Derek Carr, but Derek Carr got transferred to New Orleans. Now he's stuck with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Not really suited for Davante Adams' particular proclivities. So he is now requesting a trade officially. And the two teams that are high on his wish list, according to Adam Schefter, are the Jets and the Saints. So Jets for obvious reasons. You got Aaron Rodgers there, Nathaniel Hackett there. If he goes there, I think that's a fantastic selection, fantastic way for the Jets to, solidify a deep playoff spot, because if he has Davante Adams, and Garrett Wilson will be the one who's going to benefit the most, because all that double coverage that he sees is immediately going to die down, because then you have to cover Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams and Breece Hall out of the backfield. So I think this would be the perfect fit for the Jets, but I don't know how much you can give up to get to get Davante Adams. Most likely a first-round pick or maybe a high second-round pick, but I don't think the Jets have the second-round pick because that's going to be the Packers pick. So yeah, we'll have to see exactly what the Jets could offer. Now, the Saints, that could be the other option because that's where Derek Carr is right now. And honestly, both situations for Davante Adams are much, much better than what is there in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas doesn't have anybody and they don't seem to be performing well either. So it's not like they're going to make a deep playoff run, which at this time in Davante Adams' career, that's most likely his goal. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. Maybe he won't get traded in the middle of the season. Maybe he gets traded later in the middle of the season. If the Raiders end up being like 1-7 by the trade deadline, who knows? All right.
Who knows?
Yeah. So that's it for the first bit of news. What's up next?
All right. So the next bit of news is regarding a dumpster fire in Charlotte, North Carolina, known as the Carolina Panthers. According to Dave Newton of ESPN on October 2nd, Panthers wide receiver Deontay Johnson, he has come up in trade speculations as a potential fit. See why I'm doing air quotes, potential fit for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Dave Canales, Carolina head coach, says, nope, not seeing that. And in tribute of the late great center and NBA basketball Dikembe Mutombo, no. Dave Canales said, "Is my job is to do the best thing, to put the best 11 guys out there." He said this on Wednesday. We love the guys that are developing in the progression that we have, so I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And besides, they traded Dante Jackson and a 6th-round draft pick to the Steelers in March for Deontay Johnson and a 7th-round pick. And Deontay Johnson, he's in his last year of a 2-year, $36.7 million deal. He signed with Pittsburgh's. And there was speculation that Carolina would trade him before the November 5th deadline instead of risking losing him on free agency. But apparently Johnson, he appears to be happy. So, and he's saying like he's being locked on. He leads the Panthers with 20 catches on 39 targets, 15 catches on 27 targets the past 2 games since Bryce Young was benched and Andy Dalton became the starting QB. So, I mean, he did miss practice with a sore ankle, but he will be. But Canales is saying that he is ready to. He will most likely be playing on Sunday against the Chicago Bears.
Okay. We'll see. I think the Deontay Johnson trade is probably not going to happen as much as the Tay Adams trade might happen.
I mean, he's not that well known, Deontay Johnson. He's not like out big like Devontae Adams. Like, can he make like a super big impact?
Yeah, but it's not like the Panthers sorely. Well, maybe they might sell high on Deontay Johnson to another team. Yeah, maybe. But like you said, Devontae Adams is probably going to be the one who's going to be most recruited for a trade rather than Deontay Johnson. Alrighty. Next up. Injury news. Christian McCaffrey. Ever since week 1, where Kyle Shanahan has been suspiciously non-committal about Christian McCaffrey's injury, apparently his father reveals that Christian McCaffrey has now had Achilles issues and calf issues all of preseason and most of training camp, and it was bilateral Achilles tendonitis affecting both of his legs. Apparently, he went to Germany to figure it out, and Ed McCaffrey, the Christian McCaffrey's father, said that it most likely stemmed from his intense training regimen during the offseason. So, tendonitis is an overtraining injury, meaning you're training too hard or doing too much, and it turns into tendonitis.
Yeah, I think I do know the feeling of that. I was for long time back. It was in college, and I was playing basketball. I used a lot, and there's one incident where I tried to grab a rebound, banged my knee really, really hard on the floor. Doctors diagnosed it as patellar tendonitis, meaning there's more inflammation and it hurts in the knee, especially on that left knee. So, but it's actually patellar femoral syndrome. So that's outside the box. But it is a very, very it's basically a lookout injury. Like, it needs time to heal, and you need basically rest and healing at the moment. It is not fun to work with. Believe me.
Yeah, I also have patellar tendonitis in my right knee because I tried to do squats and I didn't do it properly. So yeah, that's...
you know what? Let's add up on our personal IR. Actually, 2 days ago is the first anniversary that I had surgery on my left middle finger.
Ooh, right. That's true. That's true.
I don't know if for those that remember season 2, like when you guys were listening or when you tuned in on Spotify, I had this big old cast on my middle finger. I was playing football without gloves. Football comes in. It just
Yeah, I
I thought it
remember.
was broken, so yeah, not fun, especially when
I
you're
remember.
dancing.
Alrighty. What's up
And
next?
last but not least, we actually have breaking the Makita news.
Mm-hmm.
Rasheed Rice, wide receiver, he is going to be on IR.
Damn.
And yeah, and they have
That must
feared,
suck for Patrick Mahomes, man.
yeah, they feared to have suffered a season-ending ACL injury. So apparently, the play was Mahomes was trying to slide, and apparently Mahomes hits Rice in the knee,
Mm.
and Rice was carted off in pain, and it wasn't optimistic. And Mahomes said in his press conference, "I feel like shit."
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes, you should feel like shit for hurting your players. You really wanted that three-peat so bad. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Shame on you.
Nah, I don't think. I mean, obviously, he didn't purposefully do it, and
No,
it
like
feels
not.
bad. But yeah, this is
I mean,
this is what happens. Karma comes back to strike you, Rashee Rice. After getting away with nearly killing people in your car, your knee gets murdered by your own teammate.
well, wait. Now I remember something.
Fatality.
Karma is my boyfriend. Karma is the guy on the Chiefs that gets injured. How do you like them? Cheese
Uh,
swizzle, baby.
yep.
Oh, this is gonna be one of those days where we throw a bunch of shades. So better get them
Mhm.
umbrellas or get your shades on, because we're about to make it gloomy.
Yeah. All right. Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Recap week 4.
What the hell is week 4?
What is week 4? I don't know, man. It is pain. It is just pain because the Packers unfortunately lost to the goddamn purple people eaters,
Of
purple
Satan.
incarnations of Satan, as Tom Grassi lovingly calls them.
No, rightfully calls them, not
Yeah,
lovingly.
rightfully calls them 31-29, 2 points. And I got into a pissing contest on Twitter with a bunch of Vikings fans about how our kicker missed 2 field goals, otherwise we would have won. And they were like so angry with me about like, oh no, we completely dominated you. I was like, shut up. All right. We nearly defeated the number 1 defense, and the so-called number 1 defense let up 22 straight points without answering.
Yeah.
It was 22-3. We outscored them 22-3 in the second half. Yes, our defense gave up 28 points in the first half, and that's why this is a tale of 2 halves for this Packers game. First half, it was all Vikings. 28-7. 4 touchdown drives. We only got a touchdown drive in the last final seconds of the end, at the end of the first half. And unfortunately, this was because our defense sucked. Okay. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. 3 straight back-to-back touchdown drives for Minnesota. Each of them 6 plays, 3 minutes, 73 yards, touchdown. 8 plays, 5 minutes, 73 yards, touchdown. 7 plays, 3 minutes, 46 yards, touchdown. Why? Soft coverage, no blitzing, lack of pressure from our 4-man fronts. Rashawn Gary and company were nowhere to be found. And it was clearly evident in the first half because there was no pressure getting to Sam Darnold. He had all day to throw to open receivers in the middle of the field. The deep passes were being controlled, but the middle of the field, they were just getting chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. And it was just they just marched down the field and scored touchdowns. Now, it wasn't all defense in the first half. The offense were the main culprits in the first half. We didn't play complementary football. 3 offensive stalled drives that all failed. 2 of them missed field goals. Thank you, Braden Narvison. Your pink slip will be be sent to you by the entirety of the Packers fan base
And
pretty soon.
and correction, and also to add, do not pass go.
Yeah, do not pass go when you collect two. Don't collect 200 and get out of Titletown. All right. Two missed field goals, a 37-yarder and a 49-yarder.
Shameful.
That was not even, they weren't even 50. They weren't long field goals. They were literally in the range for NFL kickers. And he couldn't, there was one, the 37-yarder that he missed wide to the right, or that actually hit the post. And then the other one, he missed wide to the right. So there's no consistency in his kicking game. And he cost us 6 points, clearly. But Jordan Love, and this was primarily due to his injury as well, with his left knee, he was not placing any weight on that knee, which means he couldn't drive the ball through, which meant that he was throwing a lot of balls into the dirt or away, or just not in good directions, and it led to an interception because Love threw it into triple coverage intended for Christian Watson, where unfortunately Christian Watson got a nasty injury as he was bent over by those purple bastards. And he got a nasty injury, a high ankle sprain. That's what most likely it is going to be diagnosed as. More further details will be followed in the upcoming days. But Christian Watson, we don't know. He's not going to be available for this upcoming game versus the Rams. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
And that just means that it's another injury for a pretty good wide receiver who has the promise to be really good, and he was showing that this year. He was, as I said in the previous episode, he was making the plays that we needed to make, that he needed to make, that we didn't see him make last year. He was going up, being possessive, getting the football, and using his frame to his advantage. It's just unfortunate the way that this happened, because he's been working hard and we've seen the results. It's terrible. And of course, it's the Vikings. So, but yeah. And then the next 3 drives: interception, downs, punt. So
that's definitely a big momentum killer.
that's why there was like 5 or 6 drives that failed. And it's not necessarily because the Vikings defense were doing anything special. Packers had the answers. There were people open there. Love just couldn't throw properly, and the receivers, specifically Dontavion Wicks, who had 13 targets in the entire game, only caught 5 balls. Some of them were, yes, very difficult to catch because Jordan Love missed them, but there's one that was like in the that led to one of the missed field goals. It was 3rd and 10. It was near the red zone, and Dontavion Wicks was wide open for probably the first down, definitely the first down, probably a touchdown, and he just drops it. He was wide open. There was not a Viking in his vicinity.
You got to make that
just
catch.
Dropped it. You got to make the catches that are, and it wasn't like it was extremely low or extremely high. It was right here, right near the waist and near his legs. So he definitely could have caught it and run with it and probably gained the first down there. Probably even gotten a touchdown. But unfortunately, he couldn't hang on to those, and it killed the drive. So yeah, it's just the second interception that happened. Man, this is so frustrating to talk about, because this interception was such bullshit. It was a bullshit tipped pass.
Oh, man.
But it wasn't tipped by the opposing team. It was tipped by our own players. Tucker Kraft literally went up for it, tipped it a little bit, and then Dobbs, who which the pass was actually intended for, or actually no, Kraft went up to get it, but he missed it as it went through his hands, and it fell a little bit behind Dobbs because Dobbs um, was obstructed from the view of the football because of Kraft jumping up for it, and Dobbs misread it, tipped it, and falls right into the hands of the nearby Vikings defender. Literally, luck was on their side this game. Luck was on the Vikings side this game, and it's so frustrating because the Vikings did not deserve to win this game. They did nothing special. They won because we shot ourselves in the foot more often. I mean, we ended up having 5 turnovers. Anyways, I'll get back to the first half. Then the turnover on downs was failed because this was a 4th and 10 on the Minnesota 34-yard line. It would have been a 50-ish yard field goal, but because we couldn't trust our kicker, we passed on the easy 3 points. Otherwise, at the end of the first half, we could have probably ended up 28-16, which would have been a far better score than 28-7. And this led to the second half where we had to go guns blazing. We had to go, short drives. Offensively speaking, right? We played up a lot of, hurry up offense, which is basically like, less time used on the play clock, less time for the defense to settle in between plays. So we used more hurry up. We used more play action against the blitz, and it was working. Love was throwing decently and scoring points off of turnovers. Quick short throws to get to move the sticks. And we only had 2 drives out of the 8 drives in the second half that were longer than 5 plays each. Just 2 drives. It just goes to show how quickly we were scoring and how quickly we were moving the ball down the field. And the defense showed up. Finally, they were causing pressure. Okay, they were forcing turnovers, and they forced 3 turnovers, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and 1 turnover on downs. So our defense was doing the job in the second half. Our offense was doing the job in the first half, but it just wasn't enough in the end because of missed field goals, 5 total turnovers, 3 interceptions from Jordan Love, and 2 fumbles. And the defense allowing 4 touchdowns drives in the first half. And last but not least, I want to call out Bill Vinovich, who was the head referee of the game.
Uh-oh.
You
Ref ball.
suck.
Ref ball.
You suck. Give me the $250,000 or whatever bullshit sum that you earn every year. I will be a better referee than you stupid dumb motherfucker. You're worthless. Worthless. Absolutely worthless. I got nothing else to say.
Anand, I don't think we're in the United States anymore.
No.
You know why? Where I believe that we're in, and I'm going to quote in the words of awful coaching, we live in North Korea. I think the capital of North Korea right now is Philadelphia from what I'm seeing. Because, I mean, this final score, Eagles 16, Bucks 33. Jesus Christ, or whatever God that you want to pray to.
Whatever God you want to believe in.
Yeah. I'll not make this part 2. We got one coming up. Welcome to another dosage of Ruckshucks rants.
You had you had a Professor Anant's rant, and now you're gonna have a Ruckshuck rant.
Unhinged.
Unhinged.
And you know what? I want to put this out, Route. I don't care if you have a figure up. I am literally going to start petitions. I am going to go to change.org. I am going to go to the White House petition website.
Mhm.
And I'm going to ask people, maybe when I go to the Eagles home game against the Browns, I'm going to get a fake petition list to sign, to deport the one of the most wanted people on earth, Nick Sirianni, to North Korea.
Yeah.
He should be exiled to Pyongyang.
Him and the stupid Minnesota Vikings. If they can be sold to Pyongyang and become the
Comrade
Pyongyang
Kim.
Vikings.
Send us to Comrade Kim. That would
Yes.
be for an absolute shit performance. Oh my God. I was going into this game. It's like, yeah, I was hoping if we win a close one because here's the thing. Anand,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have AJ Brown, if you don't have Devontae Smith, and you don't have your starting right tackle Lane Johnson, you are at least only have 4 losses under him, what's the best thing that you could do for your quarterback? Do you run the ball or do you throw, pardon my French, everyone, fucking short, long heave? How far can it fucking go?
Mm-hmm.
What do? Do you go with option A, run the ball, or B, throw it like there's no tomorrow?
Option A.
Exactly my point. This is the 4th straight game that we have not scored a point in the first quarter. Like,
oh no. Oh.
what? Are you shocked about that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm not. When was Kellen Moore's offense known last year? Or no, he was with the Cowboys last year, right?
he was
Or
with
the
the
Chargers?
Chargers last year.
Yeah, were they
had the
known for
excuses
starting
of
out
injuries,
hot?
But I hear in the press conference, in the post game, I didn't even bother watching it because I know Nick Sirianni is going to drive me up the. He's going to make me consider doing. I mean, it was so bad. I mean, overall, first of all, I have to say this: the first Eagles drive, 3 plays, first and 10, shotgun pass deep, right? 3rd and 10, you throw it to Goddard. It's like, okay, but I don't get it. Why are you opening with the pass? And I didn't even see any form. I mean, why
Saquon Barkley is literally y'all's
shotgun
MVP.
I mean, I'm honestly, I think that could be the case because why opening the drive with 2 quick plays and maybe left onto the left side for no gain. Excellent coaching, Nick. Super elite play calling, Nick and Kellen Moore. And I hear in the press conference that Nick Sirianni is taking a majority of the playmaking decisions. Are you kidding me? Why the hell did you hire Kellen Moore, Howie? I mean, it was so bad. I mean, if you want to talk about the offensive overall, Jalen Hurts passing to the Bucks, he had 2.85 time to throw with an average DOT of 8.8 yards depth of throw and a completion percentage of attempt of negative 6.6. I have the play chart ready to show you. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready to get your minds blown out? Are you ready for this madness? Because what the hell is this? What the hell?
Nothing deep.
I mean, we don't have deep. I mean, Jahan Dotson. Where the hell was he?
This is what happens when you rely on just a number 1 wide receiver.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Yes, I get most of your weapons are out, but why are you not using your running backs? I mean, and he didn't even. And again, turnovers. When it comes to this Eagles offense, death, taxes, and turnovers. 3 things that are apparently fucking guaranteed. Jalen Hurts sacked 6 times and 44 yards. Fred Johnson gave up 8 sacks. Yeah, they targeted the right side. Credit to Todd Bowles, because Todd Bowles, he did the same damn thing. He blitzed again and again. All he had to do was reach out the black pocket. He says, "Oh, I know what to do." Jalen Hurts is 1-4 against Todd Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not even done with this guy yet. Yeah, he finished 18 for 30, 158 yards, 1 touchdown. But again, like this is according to Shane Half. Jalen Hurts was pressured 57% of his dropbacks. The biggest culprit was Fred Johnson. He allowed 11 pressures on 38 pass blocking snaps. Kenny Gainwell, why the fuck is he there in this game? Why the fuck is he still with the Eagles? I would have rather seen Will Shipley. Kenny Gainwell allowed 3 pressures on 9 pass blocking snaps. And this is the part where it really, really frustrates me. Jalen Hurts, he leads all quarterbacks with 7 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 3 lost fumbles. I think he already has his bakery opened up next to Angelo's cheesesteak place in Georgino's in Philly. And if I had a defensive MVP for the Bucs, I mean, definitely Levante David lined up on those weak spots, and and also 2 sacks, 8 total tackles, targeted 7 times, and only allowed 26 yards of coverage. He's I mean, he may be old, but that was good. And Saquon Barkley, why the hell wasn't he used? This is really criminal. Again, Nick Sirianni should be sent to North Korea for this one. I'm going to read you a stat on this one. Saquon Barkley was given the ball 10 times. Are you kidding me? 10 fucking rushing attempts, 84 yards. Yeah, because he had that 59 long yarder. And 2 receptions for 32 yards. So yeah, 100 plus scrimmage. I don't give a shit. Why did you use him late? And yes, I know you wanted to target Dallas Goddard early, but I do not get those plays. You're targeting. I thought you would target a little bit on the right side, the middle side, open up with the play action. And I don't even want to get to stats because it is so fucking frustrating to see the same stupid fucking shit ever and 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 ever. What? Yeah, we got touch out with the touchdown.
You're so pained right now.
I feel nothing. And Jahan Dotson, you traded a 3rd round pick. You only had 2 receptions for 11 yards. Why didn't you use him more, Dotson? You gotta get better with the screenplays. Yeah, I know you can't use the offense, but Jesus Christ, man. Come on. Inexcusable. And Johnny Wilson was out of the game with a concussion. So we were down to Paris Campbell, who apparently got a touchdown. John Ross. And we had to work with Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra, and Dallas. I mean, there was nothing we could fucking do. But, which is why I am all in favor of Nick Sirianni being sent to North Korea. And Jalen Hurts, you want to talk about, I got to play better. No shit, Sherlock. Play fucking better. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get your ass to the Russian gulag if needed to. If you need I mean, yeah, of course, then people say he's thriving off the Kellen Moore, but guess what? This Eagles offense was outgained 287 to 86 yards in the first half. Are you kidding me? Why? Oh, please tell me something that I haven't already said. Tell me something that I don't know.
Next week, On days of our Eagles.
No, most likely. Where is my liquor? Because right now, I'm gonna really have to bust out a case because I have to get my ass my things because this one, not just on the offense and on Jalen Hurts, not on Nick, Nick Sirianni, not on just Kellen Moore, but I have to put the blame on Vic Fangio on this one, big time.
Breaking the Makadar news right now. The Thursday night football game, Bucks versus Falcons, is going on, and Mike Evans has scored his 100th career receiving touchdown. Round of applause. One of the best wide receivers potentially of all time.
You know what? Canton. He's going to be in Canton.
Yeah.
And
alrighty.
And now back to this pissant soft ass coverage offense, which made no adjustments. Why the hell are you playing zone?
And Jonathan Gannon. He has overtaken the defense.
No, you know what? You know who I honestly thought? I thought it was Matt Patricia and Sean Desai that took over this moment. And Bucks had 445 yards on 74 plays.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'll say this. I will give credit to Baker Mayfield because the offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, right?
Mm-hmm.
He made the play of saying, okay, if they're going to be bringing pressure, if they're going to be sticking with 5-man fronts, what's the best thing to do? Throw early. 2 seconds to throw it takes for Baker Mayfield. 30 for 47, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 1 rushing touchdown. I mean, hell of a job by this offense for sure. Evans and Godwin, Mike Evans, he had his 99th. He finished with 8 receptions, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. And Chris Godwin, 6 receptions, 69 yards. But honestly, those two alone carved up this Eagles soft ass coverage like it's paneer, like literally. And which is why I want to, on a separate note, Anand, change the cheese head, go to a Packers game and put paneer on it with a Packers logo. Get a paneer box. It's a paneer is Indian cheese. They should allow you in.
Yes.
You're spreading the diversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you what really pissed me off, no pressures at all, no blitzes. You couldn't even stop the run and attack the Bucks were entering with a bad right tackle. Luke Gadecki was out of this game. Cody Mock was there. I mean, I didn't see anything from Jalen Carter. I mean, I barely saw anything from Jalen Carter. I barely saw anything from Jordan Davis. Only Joshua and Brandon Graham got sacks. Brandon Graham, who's near the end of his career, is doing so much better than this entire edges. And by the way, where the fuck is Bryce Suff? Only 2 tackles in 4 games, 3 pressures on 74 pass rushing and snaps.
Mm-hmm.
And this is even more damning. The reason why the Bucks are getting so much, what the fuck is tackling? Literally, what the fuck is tackling? NFL's next-gen stats, they had the Eagles down for 16 missed tackles. And Fangio said on Tuesday he counted 15. I mean...
Damn. That's not the best answer you want to have.
I don't.
And it's like if your boss is telling you you've made 15 mistakes, I'm firing you. And then you say, but I've only made 14. You still made 14 mistakes, dumbass.
And of course, we got to talk about one of those missed tackles. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, man.
Yeah.
I love that you bring this energy. I love you bring this shit talking, man. But you have missed. You know what? This is from Shane Half. Out of 67, Shane Half of the Eagles Pinpole Network. Check his stuff out on YouTube. And out of 67 safeties that have played 150 snaps, CJGJ has ranked 67th in missed tackle rate, 29.6%, and 67th in touchdowns allowed 3. I mean, the defensive was so bad. Nakobe Dean also missed sacks. I mean, hey, where's Devin White when you needed him? The only good player, I'm almost done, but the only good player, man, was the rookie Quinyon Mitchell. And there was a game that I think Mike Evans was mic'd up, and Mitchell was talking so much. I love this moxie. I think he's the only thing that's been giving me joy. And I mean, and you want to know, and I'm going to read the stats from you. This is according to Victor Williams of the Philly Pod, different source. Quinyon Mitchell versus Mike Evans. Mike Evans had 4 targets, 2 catches allowed, 19 yards allowed, 1 pass breakup. He was the only defensive player to play all 77 snaps in that 105-degree Florida heat. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. And then special teams. You saw that punt fumble. Cooper DeJean gets ran into by Isaiah Rodgers. It could have he did signal the fair catch, but why that? And what was even scary? DeJean's left leg spun from him under the ground as he got rammed into, and he fumbled it. But it could have been very, very dangerous because DeJean would have broken his leg. Luckily, he did not. And of course, of all things, Isaiah Rodgers blocks the extra point, and Keely Ringo recovers it for that. I am sick of this Eagles team giving me shit like this. I am honestly cannot. I'm so happy we have the bye coming up because this team is giving me ulcers. This team has given me, I don't know, heart failure, right? No, heart attacks after heart attacks. I mean, my medical insurance is out of the roof right now because I have to look at this stupid fucking shit that is Eagles football. I honestly don't think they're going to make it to the playoffs. And with this, I fucking hate you so much, Baker Mayfield. And I am cursing you. I curse you.
Alrighty. Well, that's the end of our gripe sessions with our teams. Let's move on to the Masala games of week 4.
Oh, boy.
All right. Let's try and wrap it up as quickly as possible because both of our games sucked.
Again.
As usual. All right. For me, Panthers, Bengals. I thought the Bengals would bungle it and the Panthers would ride on the hot streak of the Red Rifle and his revenge game. But that was not to be because the Bungles actually became the Bengals this season for this game.
They're still the Bungles. They're still the Bungles. They haven't changed it yet.
Well, I'll say they're the Bengals for this game specifically because they showed up and they showed out. All right. Their defense came to play. 7% pressure rate, 1 interception, 5 drives forced to stall. 62% completion percentage, which is pretty good, including a goal line stop at the 1-yard line, preventing a touchdown from the Panthers. That was a really incredible performance from the Bengals defense. The Red Rifle was hot. All right. He was coming in, guns blazing from their performance against the Red Raiders, the Black Raiders. They don't deserve to be called the Raiders anymore. What would be a good name for them now that they're in casino? They're in Las Vegas.
They gamble a lot, so
the Casino Vault Raiders, because all they do. No, that won't work. Anyways, let's just move on. Just move on. The Bengals defense came to play. They forced the Panthers into 24 points. And if we look in terms of the amount of drives that the Panthers had, not a lot of them were actually positive drives. Not a lot were scoring drives. So it was a good performance from the Bengals defense. The Bengals offense, we always knew had the potential to be one of the best offenses in the league. And we can see that week in, week out. But they were, they are one of the best offenses in the league. All right. You look at early down offense there, 5th in the entire league in terms of early down passing offense and 3rd in the entire league terms of early down rushing offense, in terms of their explosiveness, which is measured in EPA per play. So they are really good. Okay. And they're a really top, they're a top offense. Why? Obviously, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, surprisingly, has if you take a look at this, if you take a look at the rushing stats and we take a look at yards per attempt, Chase Brown is
Hey.
second in the league at 6.3 yards per attempt. He's only attempted 29 times. And he has a 72% success rate, which is gaining at least 40% of yards required on first down, 60% of yards required on second down, and 100% of yards required on third and fourth down. So that's what success rate is. And he leads the league in success rate, which means as a third down back, as a fourth down back, which is how they primarily use him on, he's been very successful, and he's gotten them out of crunch situations game in, game out, and he's helped them a lot. Whereas their other back is not that close in terms of his effectiveness. So this game, the Panthers really showed just how outmatched they were, especially from the Panthers defense, because the Bengals offense just ran over them and sliced through them. Joe Burrow was just a technician against these guys. 71%, eighth highest EPA per drop back, very little pass rush, 0 sacks, with only 3 Panthers defenders allowing fewer than 100% completion percentage.
Oh my God.
Only 3 players on the entire Panthers defense stopped a pass from being completed. That's how dilapidated and depleted this Panthers defense is, and just how efficient the Bengals offense was. I thought that the Panthers defense could actually put some fight, and I actually thought in the preview that the Panthers offense could put some fight, which is why I predicted it to be a shootout. And yes, the Panthers did lose by 10 points. So kind of like a shootout, but not really.
Yeah.
Bengals basically had it in the bag from the beginning. And this is the worst stat. You were talking about 16 missed tackles from the Eagles, 14 missed tackles from the Panthers, some of which were on display for my spoiler alert Masala moment of the week. So, yeah. I should have predicted the Bengals to win because they are a far better team than the Panthers, and they've proven it. I just thought the Red Rifle could have wielded some more magic, but I am naive and I am gullible in believing fanciful, imaginative things. So sue me. All right. That's it for mine.
All right. My Masala game of the week. Bills versus Ravens. The curse is back. Dude, honestly, I should stop predicting NFL Masala games of the week. Bills 10, Ravens 35. Case point. Unproven. I mean, another blowout. Who would have guessed? But I will say one thing about the Ravens. They did the one thing that they were supposed to do. What did they do? They ran up the score. They kept on piling points. And it all starts with Derrick Henry. I mean, starting the game with an 87-yard touchdown run. He was 1 yard shy of 200 yards. 1 yard shy. It's like the Indian pair of legs. Beta, what did you get what did you get? Oh, I got a 99. What happened to that 1 point? That's what some people are gonna say. But those that had him on fantasy, hot damn. Because it was, I mean, they just put, you want to know the crazy thing? Yeah, the Bills defense was completely like, they were playing with backup linebackers.
Mm.
But the Ravens put up 271 yards of rushing. Lamar Jackson was 13 of 18, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 sack. He didn't need to do that much. This is the literal arm action he had to do. Hike, hike, hike. I mean, Henry's like, oh, thank God someone's using me right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you want to talk about offensive plays, the Ravens had 54 offensive plays compared to the Bills 57. Average EPA per play, Bills negative 0.214 compared to the Ravens 0.265. Average yards per play, Ravens 8. Basically 2nd and 2, just like that. And compared to the Bills 4.4. I mean, third down efficiency, 56%. Possessions, 11 possessions for each team. But oh my goodness, this is just insane. They literally made the Bills defense look like paper mache.
But that's the surprising thing. The Bills defense has been one of the top 10 defenses this year.
But I think it was the injuries that they had. So they were entering without their starting linebackers, and I believe also one of their safeties as well. And it's like, okay, we already know what their weakness is, the middle of the field. Yeah, we're gonna see if Sean McDermott can have some kind of victory speech or something to motivate them. However, none of that shit ain't gonna work when all Todd Monk is like, you know what? Looking at what I've done yesterday last week against the Cowboys, nearly giving up that lead, I got to do something better. How? Feed the ball.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And I mean, but then again, it's not just on the Bills defense. You got to take blame on the Bills offense because what was that? I mean, they're driving. I think they made some okay drives, but I just don't get some of the play calling. Like, if you want to talk, I mean, I think you know this one play. Second half, Bills 10-21. They're somehow in this game after forcing the Ravens to punt. And James Cook is driving. Then 2nd and 7. This is the most stupidest play I've ever seen. You go direct snap to Curtis Samuel. Allen, and you try to toss it to Josh Allen on a trick play. Sack for 7 yards. Fumbles it, and Kyle Hamilton recovers it. The Ravens defense just kept on attacking, and they won the turnover battle. And I mean, and I thought the Buffalo's recipe was to start running the ball, which they were able to do. But some of those passes, like Dalton Kincaid, not converting a third down, and Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman missing those catches against an okay Ravens secondary. I mean, you got to make those plays. It's inexcusable, and I will just leave it like that. Ravens deserve to win that game. Bills, I think hopefully health could be that key, but you got to make those plays.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I could say.
All right. Well, that's gonna be it for us in terms of the game. Excuse me. That's gonna be it for us in terms of the game recaps. Jesus. All right. Now let's move on to the best segment that we have.
Punch minutes.
Punch. All right. So the AFC. What happened there? Steelers. You played the Colts this week. And this is
on days of our Steelers.
Their annual playing down to the opponent game has just happened. They lost to the Colts 27-24, where Joe Flacco came in because Anthony Richardson got hurt. He got a hip injury, and Joe Flacco went 3 for 4 for 71 yards.
Oh my
on
God.
The Steelers defense, the so-called high-end talent.
There was no high-end talent for them.
Except for Justin Fields. 367 total yards.
Ooh.
3 total touchdowns. He is now the certified starter. If Russell Wilson makes a comeback and somehow takes the field, the NFL would never forgive Mike Tomlin. All right.
What's up, serious country, Russell?
No, you are not getting the field.
You gotta put this boy right there because you're here to represent Steelers country. Let's get the dubs and make it all so unlimited, baby. Steelers country, let's weld. Oh God, I haven't heard from him in a while. I think he just overpowered my defenses.
Yeah, he's that.
Just like the Eagles defense allowing Baker Mayfield to put up 400. Jesus, I know to talk. God damn it.
Yeah, but the Colts still dominated with the run game. 133 yards, 32 attempts, 1 touchdown on this mighty Steelers defense. And boy, did it show.
Taylor.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next game. Broncos versus Jets. Oh my God. This was probably the worst game to watch.
Wait,
and that's
what new? How many new worst game is this?
New 30.
New to the power of 30.
New to the power of 30. That's how bad this game was. There's just one stat that explains the entire game. Okay. Bo Nix's 60 total passing yards versus the Jets. 60. You heard that right. 6-0 on the entire game. At the end of the first half, he was 7 for 15 for -7 yards. -7 passing yards. At the end of the first half. That's how bad this game was. All right. His 60 passing yards versus the Jets is the least in this millennium for a QB who won with more than 25 pass attempts. Guys, let me remind you what yards per attempt is, okay? Let's just bring out the calculator, all right? 60 divided by 25 is 2.4 yards per attempt. Running backs run 3 yards per attempt. This idiot threw 2.4 yards per attempt.
Oh my God.
But that's also because the temperature and the weather was hilariously bad. So that's why it was so bad.
Aaron Rodgers,
he still had one of his first passing touchdowns this game on a fluke play versus the Jets. That's how they won 10-9. They won 10-9.
I still can't. Well, like I'll make this short. But whenever I see Bo Nix, I start laughing immediately after seeing that clip of your name chasing throw a pick. Like, yes, Mo Picks.
Yeah, this was apparently Bo Nix's first NFL touchdown pass, and it's literally in the third quarter. Oh my God, man, what a disastrous game to watch. I'm gonna talk next. Jaguars, Texans. Texans win the battle of the AFC South, 24-20. And Rakshak, what is the time right now? Eastern time?
9:43 p.m.
All right.
Dinner time.
Call it time of death on the Trevor Bank Stadium experiment, because it has failed. 9:43 p.m. on a Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. It has failed. He needs to be shipped off somewhere else or get someone else at offensive coordinator. 5.7 yards per attempt for Trevor Bank. Inexcusable. All right. Browns versus Raiders. Yay, Raiders win 2016. Don't really know what to say here. Even though there's a win,
they nearly choked.
A lot of drama.
They nearly choked that game.
You know what? I'm just going to let, whatever is going to happen with the Raiders just happen. Devontae Adams wants out. The coaches are not communicating. Shit is hitting the fan with the Raiders. And hey, so be it. This is what the Raiders owners get after ditching them in Oakland and moving to their shiny, money hungry, greedy capital of Las Vegas. So, yeah, this is what you get. All right. Next up, Chiefs versus Chargers. Ow.
Oh,
The Chargers. You chargered it again. Chiefs win 17-10 over a bullshit game from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They charged it again. It is so dumb considering that the Chargers had it in the bag, but no, they just had to let the evil empire have their way again. 10 points in the first quarter, 0 points in the other quarters. Man, these guys, I don't know. Even with Jim Harbaugh, the curse seems to not leave the Chargers. It's because of Dean Spanos. F you, Dean Spanos.
Oh, in the words of your dating tree, fuck you, Spanos, fuck you, Spanos, fuck you, Spanos, fuck you.
Yep. And last but not least, the Titans versus the Dolphins. The legend of Mason Rudolph takes a new chapter with this epic win against the fledgling Dolphins.
Global
Titans
warming
get their first win of the season, and the Mayo Man gets hurt.
Global warming is not the only thing that's killing the Dolphins right now.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, we have the NFC. Cowboys versus Giants. Giants, they had one job. They actually had some drives. And they got some offense going with Malik Neighbors. But then again, you field goaled it away. 20-15 Cowboys. Saints versus Falcons, 24-26. Falcons apparently win it via ref ball on a pass interception. It looked pretty competitive in a close game. A Younghoe Koo, game-winning field goal. And then you have the Rams versus the Bears. I don't know if they're going to love this one. Caleb Williams actually did something. 4 straight scoring drives. He took the Bears for 4 straight scoring drives. DeAndre Swift, 165 yards, 1 touchdown. And Matt Stafford almost had a comeback, but of course the turnovers and those misplays. Commies versus the Cardinals. Commanders 42, Cardinals 13. I don't know if I'm going to say this, but damn, Jaden Daniels is making a super big deal so far as offensive rookie of the year. 233 pass yards and a touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown. He's apparently the 4th QB in Super Bowl era to run for 4 touchdowns in his first 4 games. And he joins the list of Cam Newton, RG3, and Anthony Richardson. And they scored 30 points in 2 straight games, first time since 2017. So good job, Cliff. Pats versus the Winers, 13-30. Winers win. They rebound with a W. Defense had 6 sacks and a touchdown. Interception and fumble recovery for touchdown. Brock Purdy with 3 deep passes. He apparently got his mojo back. And Jordan Mason, 123 rushing yards. So CFC, just take it easy. We got a guy coming in, Jordan Mason. I like it. 3rd 100 rushing yard game. And then the Seattle Seahawks / Sea Chickens versus the Lions. Sea Chickens 29, Lions 42. Unfortunately, I didn't watch this game, but it was so damn entertaining when I saw the highlights. Goff has set an NFL record, by the way. 18 attempts, 18 completions. 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. And by the way, I also got to talk about my boy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And
how much do you like Amon-Ra?
St. Brown running routes. I love it when he runs routes. And you know what? Apparently, I love it when he throws the ball because we saw the Detroit Philly special for the touchdown. And it was basically a trick play. And We had and I think we also have, I believe, an NFL Masala Moment of the Week nominee.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about that for the next segment, which is the perfect lead up on him.
All righty. So that's going to be it for the Punch Minute recap. Now let's talk about the Masala Moment of the Week. I think we both have showcased or at least hinted on our moments of the week. So now I'm going to show that to everybody. Here is and it is the Jamar Chase 63-yard touchdown where he breaks 18 Panthers defenders his way to get a touchdown. So let me share this with everybody. Unfortunately for the audio listeners, you will just have to be able to listen. So let me narrate. Okay.
Panthers rush 4.
Empty set with 3-by-1, including a tight end. And it is a 5-man protection. You got Jamar Chase up here with right at the numbers, basically at the 40-yard number. And on the left side of the offense, he runs a...
Panthers rush 4. Burrow has lots of time.
No, that wasn't him. That was T. Higgins. My bad. Jamar Chase is on the right side of the field. He's the one who's alone, and he slips into what seems to be a... I can't really tell from this angle because this is very up close on Jamar Chase. But it's a 4-man rush. They drop into cover 3.
Yep.
Or cover 4. And then, yeah.
Panthers rush 4.
See Jamar Chase just splicing in
Burrow
between
has lots of time.
zone
And there's
defenders.
Jamar Chase
Misses one block, misses another block, misses
Chase
the
down
third
the
block,
sidelines. Panthers
two
chasing
blockers in
Chase.
front of him,
They won't
and
catch
he
him.
just takes it all the way to the end zone.
63 yards. Pinballing off tacklers.
3 missed tackles in that one touchdown.
All right. Very nice. And with that being said, I have my Masala Moment of the Week, which I think we got to talk about this. And this is this is the game against the Lions. No, Lions versus Seahawks. You see, the Lions are they're in their black uniforms, blue helmets. I don't know about that. I'd say iffy. But here's what we're seeing. 3 wide receivers on the right in trips formation. David Montgomery is the back. Goff is under center. Jalen Hurts should be taking some fucking notes. And then you have the Seahawks in some kind of like a zone defense. He's seeing one corner over there, 3 linebackers, probably another corner playing back just to watch out for the safety. No, you have 2 safeties over there and 1 corner, maybe 2 linebackers. So as the play goes, Goff. So you have St. Brown going in motion, fakes the handoff. So guess what? Play action from there. Goff throws the ball, sees this open target, Montgomery. Watch this. Watch what Montgomery wanted to see this in slow motion. Watch him. Whoops. He trucks Devin
Swift and keeping David Montgomery.
Yeah. I mean, hi, damn, that was good. That's all I got.
All righty. So now we are going to talk about a new segment that we're going to be introducing this season. It is the NFL's quarterly business report. So every 4 weeks of the NFL regular season, we will be doing a quarterly business report. Now, what does that mean?
Ooh.
We are going to be talking about the top 5 worst teams that we think exist and the top 5 best teams that we think exist in the league every 4 weeks. So, shall we get started, Akshak?
Lead the way, my good friend. What you got?
All right. So in terms of top 5 worst teams, for me, it encompasses a lot of categories. It's not just the worst record, okay? Because you can have fluke wins here and there, like we saw in week 1. It's all about the perception of the rest of the season. And for me, the Browns just have the worst perception for the rest of the season.
Oh, that's it. Bro, tell me about it. They
So
suck.
far, they have the second lowest offensive EPA per play in the entire league. And the only team that's worse than them is the Skylar Thompson-led Miami Dolphins.
Tyler and I got report Tyler Huntley's going to be taking over.
And now Tyler Huntley. Even the Tennessee Titans have a better offense than the Browns. They have the most expensive offense in the league and by far the least productive and least explosive offense in the entire league. That is a recipe for disaster. And you might just be thinking, if you haven't seen any of the games, well, it might, be other issues like the offensive line is not doing well, the receivers are not blocking, or, it's a different combination of issues. But no, it's not. It's Deshaun Watson. 6th lowest completion percent over expected at -3.4. Okay. You look at touchdown to interception ratio. That basically illustrates how many points are you scoring versus how many times you're giving away the football. He is actually not that bad, but that's because he only accounts for 2.7% in touchdown percentage and 2% in interception percentage. So it's like he does basically nothing for you as a quarterback. He's not elevating the team, nor is he performing at a good enough margin to actually win games in the league, because this defense is surprisingly good. Deshaun Watson is ranked 30th out of 36 active QBs who have thrown more than 10 passes on the entire season in terms of passer rating. Okay. He has one of the worst adjusted net yards per attempt at 33 out of 36. Bo Nix has a better, higher.
Mo picks.
Skylar Thompson has a higher adjusted net yards per attempt over Deshaun Watson. You don't even have to look at the stats that I'm talking about. You just have to look at the plays. He doesn't make plays. The offense sucks.
What the hell does he do?
He doesn't do anything. He's the most overpaid, unremarkable, disastrous QB that has ever walked the face of the earth. He doesn't deserve to live.
Deshaun Watson, I mean, I'll say this. If I wanted to put it in mild terms, you know where I will send him to. My favorite place in the world, North Korea.
Yes. And then that's the worst team for me. Up after that are the Jags.
Oh,
for obvious reasons. They're 0-4. They have not won. They have not shown a fight. I don't know if and the problem is not obvious. At least with the Browns, you know what the problem is. The problem is Deshaun Watson.
Right.
Now, that's a whole different problem because you're paying $230 million or whatever bullshit contract he has guaranteed, so you can't really move off from him. But at least, the other parts of the team are still functional, like we saw last year. Joe Flacco coming in a remedial sense, took them to the playoffs. I think a similar thing can happen if Russell Wilson, let's say he goes to the Browns.
Oh my God.
At least they win some games.
Browns country, let's dog pound, baby. No, that wouldn't work.
What if Baker Mayfield returns back? No, that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay will never give up on Baker Mayfield. But we know the problem with the Browns, and it's Deshaun Watson. The problem with the Jags, we don't know whether it's Trevor Lawrence, whether it's the offensive scheme, whether it's the playmakers, whether it's the defense. It might be all of them, and that's just
Trent
so
Baalke
depressing
too.
to watch.
I would say
Huh?
Trent Baalke too for making such questionable decision making in the off season.
Yeah, bottom tier offense, bottom tier defense in terms of EPA per play. And it just, you look at someone like, you look at Trevor Lawrence, he's not performing that well. He actually has a worse CPOE than Deshaun Watson, which is depressing to say the least. 53.7% completion percentage, which is actually lower than Deshaun Watson. That actually might be the second lowest completion percentage in the entire league.
Oh my God.
Bryce Young, who has been benched, has a better completion percentage than Trevor Lawrence.
Oh my God.
So it's just we just don't know if it's because he's had plays. He's made plays in some games. It's just been constant confusion and lack of consistency, and that's why the Jags are my second lowest team. Then come the Giants, simply because of Daniel Jones. Okay, the defense is actually pretty good. They're top 5 in defensive sack rate. They're getting pressure. I think they're second or third highest pressure rate in the entire league. So they're performing their job. It's again the similar situation with Cleveland, Daniel Jones. Now, obviously, Deshaun Watson is not the same as Daniel Jones off the field. Deshaun Watson is, we all know what he is off the field. Daniel Jones, he may be a good guy, but on the field, not good. At least he has fewer turnovers than Jalen Hurts. I'll say that. The Panthers up next, 4th worst. I just don't see, like, if the Red Rifle continues to win some games, I think I might move them out of the top 5. But it's just their defense sucks so bad. Their offense has to perform miracles every single week. It's not sustainable. There will come a time when the offense, actually, we saw where the defense has failed and the offense has to keep up, and they won't because the team that they're facing is much superior to them. So we saw versus the Bengals how it turned out. So that's why I think the Panthers are the 4th worst. And finally, Titans are the 5th worst. Only because I have been optimistic about Will Levis this entire offseason. And yes, he has sucked so bad toward at the beginning of the season. We've seen I think he leads the league in terms of total turnovers at 8 total turnovers. We saw how many sacks the Packers piled up on the Titans that week. So, yeah. I think the Titans are still bottom 5 in the league, but I hold out some hope for at least the offensive line to become better. So, yeah, that's it for me. Top 5 worst teams.
This is, for me, my top 5 is out of order. I think we have almost every single team at the same thing. For example, I had the Browns because Deshaun Watson's still their QB. I mean, their offense is malfunctioning. And yes, Nick, they've opened up the 21-day practice window for Nick Chubb, but is that really going to do anything? Because Kevin Stefanski is going to still call up some pass plays, and Deshaun Watson will be required to throw the ball. Defenses are going to have a field day. And then second of all, Jags. Again, most of it's like regurgitating, man. So like just for that, like especially with the Jags, Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson and Press Taylor's, they have to go because as much as I love Dougie P for what he did with Philly, after all, he did lead a team to beat one of the greatest teams of all time with a backup QB and a trick play. That's why we have a statue outside the link. But I mean. It's because it's the same Doug Peterson that wanted to do too much with this Eagles offense that caused him to get fired, especially getting like Rich Gangarello and Marty Morningweg and putting in too much. And having Press Taylor as an offensive coordinator really not helping. And Gus Bradley is their defense. Who's their defensive coordinator, by the way, for the Jags? Because whoever that guy is,
Ryan Nielsen.
It's horrible. Bottom. It's a bottom team. And Giants, you have Daniel Jones. That's all there is.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers, that's a question mark because I also say is because of the QB situation and that defense. It has been putrid at best. I mean, you said 14 missed tackles against the Bengals. You had a chance to make the Bengals go 0-4, but you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a part where I honestly think I would put my Philadelphia Eagles as one of the worst teams. I am going.
Wow. You are calling them out.
I am calling their asses out because of the bullshit that I've seen with Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore. When it's for the simple play calling. And I mean, and to continue off more on my rant, why the hell is Devin White not in that game? This has been 4 straight games in which Devin White has not played. And you know what's even more crazier? The fact that you had Darius Slay come up on Micah Parsons' podcast talking shit and talking about your stats. That should piss you off, man. You're not like, oh, I still have my sets and all of that. Shut the fuck up, Darius Slay. Shut the fuck up. I will call the Eagles for this one because, I mean, you have a quarterback, God forbid, a quarterback who's now leading in turnovers.
Mm.
And I don't even want to talk about it. That's what's got me so pissed. I could say the Eagles, or I could even say about the Titans. We will literally say the same thing. Same teams. Honestly, I kid you not. But the way that my Eagles have been playing, we're lucky to be 2-2. Right now, some games we should have been 1-3. Saints would have been a blowout. Packers, it's a 50-50. Falcons, I mean, well, hell, we could have been 3-1, but the level of playing that I've seen from my Eagles so far, when you're bottom in defense, like allowing this so much shit on a bend but don't break, forgetting how to fucking tackle a guy, dude, that's inexcusable, man. I would put them at 0-4. This is worse to 0-4, man. This is North Korea level coaching right there. If Nick Sirianni needed another job and North Korea started an American football team, they would hire Nick Sirianni to do some bullshit. God damn it.
All righty. Top 5 best teams. So hopefully we'll not see you have an aneurysm here.
Or advocating more for North Korean.
Yeah.
Join Nick Sirianni in this North Korean coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. Vikings fans, I don't care if you hate me. You're number 2. Bills are number 1. All right. Yes, they just got manhandled by the Ravens. But I still believe in Josh Allen more than I believe in Sam Darnold. Okay, because Sam Darnold, while he has been impressive, is a good passer of the football with really good talent who's just in a fantastic situation. Kevin O'Connell, top 10 offensive coordinator and play designer in the league. No question. Justin Jefferson, best wide receiver in the game. No question. His offensive weaponry, top 5 in the league. No question. Aaron Jones, 3rd or 2nd best running back in the league. So clearly you have a really, really good situation for Sam Darnold to be in. But when the pressure got turned on him in the second half of the Packers game, what happened? When he didn't have the answers, what happened? He failed. He failed to make any sort of meaningful plays. So this is my understanding at this point. Sam Darnold's a good QB. He has made some fantastic throws, especially that throw to Justin Jefferson. If Keyshawn Nixon had the ball awareness of a fucking chipmunk, he probably would have intercepted that pass, but he doesn't. All right. If that was Jair Alexander, that would have been picked off. But actually, that was a really good throw. Terrible ball awareness from Keyshawn Nixon. Put it right, behind Keyshawn Nixon. And it was late hands move by Justin Jefferson so that Keyshawn Nixon didn't even have an idea of the ball being there. And that was just a fantastic play. But it was still really good ball placement from Sam Darnold. So he has made some good plays, but he is not the MVP of this team. It is clearly Kevin O'Connell or Brian Flores. But even Brian Flores' defense can be manhandled. We just saw the Packers put up 22 points in the second half. And did you know what Jordan Love's fourth quarter performance was this past game? 13 of 17, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. In the fourth quarter against this Brian Flores defense. So clearly this defense can be beaten. Yes. Our defense let up way too many points, and I already explained this in the previous game. But other teams are going to look at this tape and understand what Matt LaFleur was able to do to combat this Brian Flores defense. And they will have answers. Rest assured, better teams with better offensive coordinators will have answers against this Vikings team. Now, yes, you did beat the Niners. But also, that was by 3 points. So that's why the Vikings are 2. Because I trust Josh Allen more in critical situations than Sam Darnold. Now, that's not to discredit the fact that the Vikings are a top team. They are the second best team in the league for a reason. Okay, they've beaten really good opponents. They've manhandled the Texans 34-7. They beat the 49ers. They beat the Packers. So really good job on defeating those teams. But when push comes to shove for me, the top 5 best teams right now for the rest of the season are the Bills and the Vikings. The first one is the Bills because I believe in Josh Allen more.
Yeah.
In terms of recovering from bad situations. And the Vikings second. The Chiefs are third. For obvious reasons, they're 4-0 after having probably lost or supposedly to lose all 3 of their games. All right, they should have lost the Bengals game. They should have lost against the Falcons, and they should have lost this week as well. But guess what? They don't, because A, the refs are on their side because they want to become, Mahomes' permanent house guest. B, the refs are on their side because they want Travis Kelce to do things to them. C, the refs are on their side because they want to do things to Taylor Swift. Chiefs are number 3 because things just happen to the Chiefs. All right, and they get away with their victories, but still, they're inevitable. Okay, they're going to get into the playoffs. They're going to be deep into the playoffs. So yeah, Texans. I understand you guys got railroaded by the Vikings, but I still believe in CJ Stroud to turn this ship around and make a deep playoff run because they have the talent, they have the ability to do so. And finally, who saw this coming? The Commanders.
Whoa.
3-1. Why do you think, Rakshak, they should be in the top 5?
I would say hold on that. Hold out on the Commanders yet.
Okay.
For me,
go ahead.
No, because the Commanders have been playing really good football, especially with Dan Quinn. They're leading the NFC East of all teams. But looking at their upcoming schedule, It's not easy. They'll have to face the Ravens, and of course, splitting with the Cowboys and the Eagles, Saints, and the high-end talent that is the Steelers and the Falcons. These are not particularly in order, but when they go up against really, really great teams, that's going to be the key change. I will hold out on the Commanders.
So the only reason why I'm saying they're a top 5 team is because so far, Jaden Daniels has created history for the highest completion percentage in 4 weeks at 82%. 82% completion percentage in 4 weeks. Let me just make sure that I actually get this ranking correctly. Yeah, 82% completion percentage, 11.2% completion percentage over expected. You look at in terms of regular passing yards, he is 12th in the entire league. Okay. And it's just so mesmerizing to watch this offense because somehow this offense is the number 1 most explosive offense in the entire league, and it's not even close. The only difference between them and the Bills, the vast chasm of difference is like 0.15 points per play in terms of a EPA. It's massive. But also, the reason why they're not higher up is because their defense is also not good, to say the least. It is not good. So like you said, they need to play tougher opponents. But this offense, man, Jaden Daniels has not only the chance to become the offensive player of the year, the rookie of the year, he has a chance to become MVP.
I would not. I would think so too. No, I would
Rookie
say
MVP.
Rookie MVP, yeah.
Alrighty. That's it for me.
All right. Number 1, Chiefs, god damn it, is all because of Spags. I would say it's because of that Steve Spagnuolo defense. Mahomes has been playing really, really shaky, if you know what I mean. I mean, yes, Rashee Rice is going to be out, and Travis Kelce needs to start clicking more. I think he's been less targeted. And also, it may be a little bit of a question mark, especially with Isaiah Pacheco on IR as well. So, but then again, who is leading this team off the back to make some crazy plays? It is Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo again. This man, I mean, I think one of the best defensive coordinators ever to grace on God's earth. And why? Because he is that disciple of Mr. Jim Johnson, God rest his soul. Jim Johnson, the former defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, long time back, one of the best ones. And if you wanted to, and of course, and next you have the Bills. The Buffalo Bills they're basically second best. I mean, with the way that this offense and Josh Allen have been clicking, it's been actually really fun and impressive to watch at the moment. And especially if you're looking at total QBR, Josh Allen leads the league right now in QBR, 82.3, and pass per and number of points per and PAA, number of points contributed by quarterback, according to QBR and how much he plays. Josh Allen won the top 17.5. And I think, and compared to last year, I don't think he's only allowed one turnover because of the stupid minded play against the Ravens. But overall, he's been playing excellent football, and the Bills' recognition of using the run game. That is how they're able to minimize the turnovers. And when they do that, and if there's a healthy defense always shows up and they perform very well. Chiefs, again, they're number one because it's Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo's defense, especially with Chris Jones attacking everywhere and having an excellent run defense. Then you have the Vikings, 4-0. Yes, Sam Darnold, who is third in QBR with 73.5, and he's grateful to have weapons in Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and the arrival of Jalen Naylor. And yes, he'll be getting TJ Hawkinson back, but also you have to give where credit's due to Brian Flores. This guy Brian Flores' defense has been ranked one of the top. And of course, he will also play a tight man and he'll blitz a lot. Well done. And then I had a debate with Anand recently. It could have been the Commanders because of that 3-1 record and Jaden Daniels, but I say it's the Detroit Lions. The way that they're able to play complementary football with Jared Goff and their running backs, David Montgomery, and just watching how Amon-Ra St. Brown runs routes and the emergence of Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta and tight end Sam Laporta. This Lions offense under Ben Johnson. Let me pull it up really quickly. Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. Yes. So far, this Lions team, if I recall, give me 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, just need to check up something. The Lions, so far in 4 games, they've been averaging 26 points. Defensive wise, it could work a little bit with 20.5, but having playmakers like Aaron Hutchinson, who I believe one game he had 5 sacks in total, which is effing scary. And unfortunately, Brian and having okay linebackers in Alex Anzalo and Jack Campbell and Josh Pat and Malcolm Rodriguez, but Aiden Hutchinson has been that heartbeat of this defense. And then you got to talk about the Houston Texans, aka the Strouds. CJ Stroud, he's just insane. And he's playing on a god tier. CJ Stroud, if he's been playing, and Bobby Slowick returning back. Okay, let me restart from here. So the reasons why I have the Texans in at this part. If you look at again back to QBR, CJ Stroud, he's ranked number 12, 61.3%. But the way that he has been attacking opposing defenses outside of the Vikings, especially having Joe Mixon as his running back, CJ Stroud so far, he has had, so far he's had 67.6% completions, thrown for 6 touchdowns, and he's already had 1,054 passing yards. And if you compare to last, and yes, he's been getting sacked a lot because defenses have now been understanding how do we combat this type of the traditional quick pass, quick player route, but his ability to get his guys open, and Nico Collins and yes, Stephon Diggs in some cases has been really, really incredible. And then of course defense. DeMeco Ryans coaching in his second year. Incredible job so far. And if I even wanted to go further, this Texans defense has allowed, and I quote, they've been only allowing 23.5 points per game, which is apparently 22 best in the according to NFL's total offensive stats. They are currently the 8th ranked defense. They're at 364.5 yards per game. But in cases of turnovers, I mean, the one thing about the Texans, they have been pretty good in the turnover differential. I mean, as of right now, they're -1 in turnover differential. But the way that this offense has been clicking and averaging nearly 364 yards per game and 79 points, almost 19 points per game, a little bit down, but a lot better. And I think with this one, I had this Texas there. And with this one, we will go on to week 5. So, for the Eagles, thank God we have the bye week. Because at this moment, it is unfortunate to see this Eagles team falter and falter from potential win games to getting their asses kicked. Absolutely. And then and I'm hoping that they take the time. Luckily, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Lane Johnson will be back for week 5 against the Browns, or week 6 against the Browns, which I will be going live in person at Lincoln Financial Field. So looking forward to that. And defense, I mean, maybe they have a clear idea on who's running the offense. I really want to see Jalen Hurts get a little bit more under center and just snap it and give more touches for Saquon Barkley. Because if your quarterback is struggling with turnovers, help him out with the run game, because you have one of the best offensive lines. And I would also like to see more of the Eagles defense addressing their fucking tackling issues. I mean, having 16 missed tackles in a single game is a sentence to North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm so thankful that we have the bye. I have prayed for this moment. We could have been 3-1, but no. This is what they do to me. This is what I'll demonstrate the action. As an Eagles fan, I have this organ called the heart. Please,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where. It's like right there near the strip. So they've taken a fork, or let's say this is a fork, stick it in. They twisted that sucker and they poured it with salt and vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they have done to me this season, and I think it's almost the same route that they're going, especially with that collapse after that 10-1 start last year. Can we just move on?
Yeah. I mean, you've given enough complaints for us, for the Eagles to listen to. I hope they listen to you and all the other Eagles fans and make some changes. Obviously, I hope that they don't, but for your sake and your sanity, I hope that they do. For my personal sanity, no, I want them to fail miserably. But for you, that's fine. I'm ready to sacrifice my hatred of the Eagles. Alrighty. The Packers, unfortunately, are not on a bye this week. They face the Rams, and these are the same Rams that are 1-3 and fighting for the survival of their season. And they need a win.
They definitely need a win.
They need a win, and the Packers are literally right in their way. So the Packers also need this game to get Jordan Love back on his feet and knock some of the rust off. Because the fourth quarter of the Vikings game was really good, but if we look at the rest of the entire game, it has been miserable to watch that performance, because he wasn't able to put weight on his knee. He wasn't able to make the strong throws that he was making in the fourth quarter. obviously because he was able to put more weight on his knee at that time. But when we see the way that he performed in the first three quarters versus the Vikings defense, it was not that sustainable, especially since Malik Willis had performed better. And you heard the calls of, quarterback competition, Malik Willis and Jordan Love. Yeah, that's not happening. Jordan Love is the starter. Make no mistake. He is the starter for the entire season for the Packers. It's just that he just needs to knock some of the rust off because he has not practiced for 20 days. Thursday today, he finally practiced, full padded practice. So that was good for us. But before then, he had not practiced for 30 days. Plus, he had limited practice on the entire preseason because his contract was coming up and they were working on that. So he didn't really have practice then. So he just needs to knock some of the rust off. And unfortunately, it is during game time because Matt LaFleur doesn't put his team in practice situations in preseason games and starting. They got like one drive where they scored a touchdown, which was really good. But then they were like, no, you're done for the entire, preseason or whatever. So with the lack of playing time that he has had and the unfortunate injury that he has had and the recovery that he's had because of that injury, it's been a long road for him to recover. But hopefully by this week, he should be fully 100% recovered. And this is the perfect matchup for the Packers offense. Here's why. Offensively speaking, this Rams secondary is bruised, battered, and depleted and running on fumes because they have by far the second worst EPA per dropback. 31st, so second worst passing DVOA, second worst DVOA versus the first number one wide receiver, and the last DVOA, dead last in DVOA versus the tight end, dead last in adjusted net yards per attempt, 28th in red zone scoring defense in terms of touchdowns only. So overall, the Packers definitely have an easier matchup against this weak Rams secondary. And it's not just secondary, it's their entire passing defense. You look at a linebacker that they have, Christian Roseboom. He has allowed, let me just pull up the stats. On 18 targets, 17 completions, 99 yards allowed after the catch, and a missed tackle rate of 17.4%. Jaden Reed is going to cook that guy into the Netherlands. All right.
Ooh.
Into the nether. All right. So they don't really have that many good players on defense. Now, they do have Jared Verse, who leads in terms of pass rush win rate amongst all rookies in terms of rookie defensive linemen. So he has been the lone bright spot. Him and actually Braden, what's his face? Braden. Do you remember Braden? Oh my God, I'm
Braden
blanking
Fisk?
out. Huh?
Braden Fisk.
Yes, Braden Fisk. There we go. Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. They
I
have
got you,
been
boys.
the two of their most productive players on defense, and they're both rookies. And it turns out, actually, funnily enough, the Packers and the Rams now have these first and second youngest rosters in the entire league, both at 25 years old. I'm 25 years old.
Why do I feel old now?
But yeah, so young, depleted Rams secondary, this is exactly the target for the Packers to attack. And specifically, Tucker Kraft has to have a big game in the red zone here, especially using him on designed plays with a lot of motion, because surprisingly, the Packers have been one of the worst teams in terms of red zone scoring. Okay, 23rd in red zone scoring at just 46% of all red zone attempts. So clearly, the Packers offense needs to be better at scoring from the red zone. And this is the perfect matchup for us because not only are the Rams secondary weak, they're weak in the red zone and they're weak against the tight end. So I expect Jordan Love to target Tucker Kraft like nobody's business, like prime Gronk and Tom Brady. All right. Just throw up the football and let Tucker Kraft come down with it. Or just have design plays just like Matt LaFleur did for Luke Musgrave last year, that famous Y leak play, tight end Y leak play against the Cowboys where Musgrave was wide open. No Cowboy corner was there within 25 yards of Luke Musgrave. So something like that in the red zone would be fantastic to take advantage of for the Packers. So that's how I think the Packers offense can beat this Rams secondary. Now, in terms of the defense, it's time. Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Preston Smith. It is time. Stafford is a savvy veteran QB, but he has a depleted offensive line where half or maybe 80% of his entire offensive line is on IR. You better demolish this offensive line or you don't deserve the contracts that you have. Because, boy, has it been disappointing to watch Rashawn Gary. 1 sack, minus the others that were taken away because of penalties, in 13 games. 1 sack in 13 games. That is not acceptable.
That's rough, bro.
And just 3.0 pass rush win rate from PFF, which is the worst in his entire career. And this is the problem that we saw. A lot of times he's trying to become a finesse pass rusher like he was against the Vikings tackles, who happen to be some of the best tackles in the entire league. Don't be finesse. That's not what you're good at. You're good at just bulldozing and bull rushing people. That's what you have been good at for the entire time that you were with the Packers. So why are you changing? Just bulldoze offensive linemen into the ground. Make them sit on their asses. All right. You don't need to break their ankles. You were powerful enough to, stunt onto the inside and make moves against the interior of the offensive line or the exterior of the tackles and bring pressure onto the quarterback. Now, we have been bringing pressure onto the quarterback, and I think we are 12th in adjusted sack rate. So we are bringing pressure and we are creating sacks, but it's just not enough against good teams and good quarterbacks who know how to destroy aggressive defenses. Okay, and that's exactly what Stafford is. He's a savvy quarterback who knows how to destroy aggressive defenses. Now, good news for the Packers defense. The Rams offensive line is 25th in adjusted sack rate. So if you get pressure on Stafford and close the pocket, then good stuff will happen. All right. So please, Bain, Gary, and company, show that you exist and you're not bankrupt. All right. Otherwise, you would be bankrupting the Packers offensive line, front office. Now, I don't think the Rams win, but if they have a snowball's chance in hell of winning, they need to control the time of possession because so far they're 24th in terms of time of possession from the defensive standpoint. That means they have only owned 51.3% of the time on defense, which means nearly less than half of the time is spent giving time for the offense. So basically 51% of the time the defense is on the field and 49% of the time the offense is on the field, which means with 50% of the offense, with 50% of the time of the offense on the field, the offense is 22nd in scoring in points, in terms of points per game. So even with the few chances that they get, they can't score. So for the Rams, their problem is the defense spends way too much time on the field. that leads to fewer chances for the offense. And the offense is so inept that they can't score. So, to defeat the Packers, most likely they're going to have to end up in a shootout, which means
no chance in hell, man.
exactly, which means the only way for them to secure a win is to control the time of possession. Make it like 60-40 or even like 65-45. The closer you get to running to controlling the time of possession, the easier it is for the Rams to win. Now,
But wait,
yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt, but we have breaking the Makidar news.
Okay.
Right now, with the Bucks and the Falcons on this Thursday night football game on October 3rd, the scores are tied 27-27, entering the fourth quarter with 13-18 to go.
Dang. This is the game that I've always wanted to watch for Thursday night football, and this is the one that we miss. Great.
It's fine.
All right, anyways, let's wrap it up then. The only way for the Rams to win is by running the football. Okay, they're 6th in EPA per rush, 3rd in success rate, but they've only rushed 95 times, which is 26th overall. So why don't they focus more on the running game? Well, they have a lot of play action that is built. I think they're top 10 in terms of play action attempts based off of the running game. Now, they're really good at running the football because Sean McVay is a genius. But for the Rams to actually win this game, they have to run the ball 40, 50 times, right? Just like the Packers did with the Colts. They need to run the football. They need to control time of possession, and they need to take advantage in terms of play action of the Packers' single high safety coverages, because Stafford is 6th in terms of yards per play versus single high safety coverage. So the Packers, they've run single high about 25% of the time. The rest of the time, they primarily run cover 3 and cover 4. So that's more like, actually, let me pull up the correct. Yeah. So the Packers run, primarily cover 3, 32% of the time. And cover 6, 14% of the time. Cover 1 and cover 2. So cover 1 is single high safety. They only run 20% of the time. And cover 2, they run 14% of the time. So they run a lot of cover 3, which is, zone. It can be man or zone, but mostly man coverage. So anyways, getting back to the point. So ideally for the Rams, they need to run the football, and on single high safety coverage, they need to turn them into play action passes. Then and only then will the Rams win. But for me, I just don't see it happening. I think it's a get right game for the Packers. They win 31-16. And now we're going to move on to the Masala Games of the Week segment.
Oh, baby, let's get it.
Hopefully, these don't end up into disastrous plays for us. So,
well, there's no way my team can. By the way, there's no way my team can lose because, as I mentioned before, Eagles are on a bye week. There's no way anything can happen, right?
yeah.
Am I losing my mind?
There is no way nothing bad can happen this week.
What can possibly go wrong?
Exactly. So for me, I'm taking what I think is going to be an NFC or AFC divisional round playoff game between the Bills and the Texans.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a good matchup. It's a 12 p.m. matchup, which is surprising considered the Bengals and Giants are Sunday Night Football. Why do we want to watch the Bengals and the Giants, Daniel Jones, bungle his way on Sunday Night Football?
The Derp versus the Bungle. What can possibly go wrong?
I'd rather watch the it's the Cowboys and Steelers. Okay, never mind. It's the Cowboys and Steelers. I was looking at the wrong. I was looking at the wrong group. Yeah, it's Cowboys and Steelers. Still, I don't want to see the Steel defense. I want to see Bills and Texans.
You don't want to see that
Unfortunately,
high-end talent, baby.
Yeah. And this time, the Bills are in Houston at NRG Stadium. So, for me, the Bills, the way that they win this game is by doing what they've done so well this year, being the most almost the most explosive offense in the entire league, second most explosive in terms of EPA per play, second highest CPOE for Josh Allen amongst QBs, first in touchdown percentage on offensive series, and sixth in first downs per series. So they have scored touchdowns on nearly 15% of their offensive drives, which is significant considering offensive series, actually. It's significant considering just how good defenses have been overall this year, especially on the early downs. This is where I think the Bills can really win this game. On first and second downs, the Texans have the 22nd best rush EPA and 21st rush success rate, where the Bills are 8th and 9th respectively. Here's why. If you run the football on early downs, it makes third and fourth down easier, which makes it much more easier for Josh Allen to defeat your defenses.
Repeat this again. Repeat this again.
If you run the ball on first and second down effectively, it makes third down much easier.
Oh, shit. Nick Sirianni, are you fucking listening to this? I'm sorry, man.
So, yeah, the Bills are one of the best teams at running the football on explosively and effectively on on early downs. So if they can take advantage of this weak Texans defense on early downs, then I can see them really controlling this game and securing a victory in Houston. Now, this also has the added benefit of keeping Stroud on the sidelines and the Bills in control. So that's why running the football on early downs effectively, right? If you're not good at running the football on early downs, you shouldn't completely continue it unless you face a good matchup, which I'm going to talk in a little bit. So for the Bills, especially with running the football, both their top rushers in James Cook, the running back, and Josh Allen, the QB, have been very good at running the football, 68% and 58% success, respectively, in terms of running explosively and successfully. So that means 68%, which probably means Josh Allen has been converting third downs like nobody's business. Why? Because they run so effectively on first and second down with James Cook, which is why he has a 58% success rate. So clearly, they're good at running the football, and they need to continue to do that against this Texans defense. Now, also, with this explosive running game should come a really effective RPO offense as well. I would love to see some 3 plays like that, because an RPO offense can defeat a too high coverage, too high man, right? Cover 2. That's what Mel Kiper has been yapping about banning. But guess what? Josh Allen's the second best quarterback at beating too high coverages in the entire league.
Yeah, right. And just for everyone to like understand, like when we say too high cover, I know some people are hearing this again, like every week. Too high cover, basically, you're having 2 safeties. They cover this entire field, like one zone, and the rest of your corners are in mini zones, or they'll try and face their man. Something like that.
So either they play zone coverage or man coverage, but cover 2 means you have 2 cover safeties, splitting up the field in halves. Cover 4 would be quarters coverage, or it would be a fourth. Cover 3 is a third, and cover 6 is not sixth per se. It's more like a
Almost every defensive
cover
back,
2
or
and
even
cover 3 layered together. So in terms of cover 2, 2 high coverages, Josh Allen's the second best QB at defeating them, and the Texans run 62% middle of the field coverage, which is both cover 2, cover 4, and cover 6, along with cover 3. So it's basically not cover 1 and not cover 0. Cover 0 means you have 0 safeties, and most likely means man blitz. So Texans run, some of the highest rates of middle of the field coverage, which means that they block the middle of the field, which is really good for Josh Allen because that means you have less heavy linebackers and you have more nickel corners who are lighter and easier to demolish with Josh Allen's stiff arm. So again, running the football is going to be the key for the Bills to win. Now, the Bills defense has to target CJ Stroud over the middle of the field because, like Josh Allen, CJ Stroud has been the best quarterback in terms of covering, in terms of slicing the defense over the middle of the field. And especially now, since he has Stephon Diggs, this is going to be a revenge game for Stephon Diggs facing the Bills. He also has Nico Collins and he also has Tank Dell, who's a really, really good slot receiver. So the Bills, conversely, have been bottom third in the entire league covering the middle of the field. So the Bills have to toughen up their linebacking core and their safety situation when covering the middle of the field, because if they give time to CJ Stroud and he has open space in the middle, he's going to hit those chunks over and over and over again, and it's just going to be a shootout. That's not the way for the Bills to win. They want to control the run game, and they want to prevent CJ Stroud from getting those explosive pass plays over the middle of the field. That's how the Bills win. Now, the Texans, for them to win, they got to have more single high coverage versus Josh, because he is only 13th in yards per play versus single high coverage. Why? Because he doesn't have the wide receivers to necessarily have more separation against more man coverage and more zone coverage in cover 1 situations. So hopefully they can force any turnover and use them as opportunities to give to the offense. Now, I don't think the Texans defense can stop the Bills because Josh Allen is just masterful at exploiting defenses, but this is the time for the Texans offense to show up, okay? Because they haven't been the most effective or the offense or explosive offense, and the Bills have a top 10 pass defense EPA per play. So this is the opportunity for the Texans offense to control time of possession with early down running, because while they suck, while they are 27th in EPA per rush on early down, the Bills defense is 31st in EPA per rush allowed defending early down runs, but they're 6th in EPA per pass on early down. So if the Texans want to win, they should also try and control the early downs and basically have the same formula to win as the Bills. So long story short, run the football.
And I think with this one, just to add more to points, I was also looking at the injury report last week when I said that that the Bills' best linebacker Terrell Bernard was unavailable. He may be questionable at the moment, and also cornerback Teron Johnson, he could be out. He's quite so. If I'm looking at some of the big ones, Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, Khalil Shakir, wide receiver, Terrell Bernard, linebacker, and Teron Johnson, corner, Taylor Rapp, safety. They're all questionable at the moment. If they're not able to play, especially Ed Oliver, Terrell Bernard, Teron Johnson, and Taylor Raft, unleash hell with Joe Mixon. That's all I got to say. CJ Stroud just needs to sit back.
All right. On to you.
All right, with this, last but not least, my Masala game of the week. Please don't make this a jinx. Please don't make this a jinx. Please don't make this a jinx. The New Orleans Saints versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It is a Monday night delight, I think. Yeah. Just checking. Yep, it's a Monday night game. And the only time that we have no doubleheaders on Monday nights. Thank goodness. I find this to be a very, very intriguing matchup because it's how the Saints, and I honestly think it's going to come down to this. The main idea is going to be how the Saints offense is going to stop, how this Chiefs defense is going to stop the Saints offense. And let's give you let's get some numbers, shall we? New Orleans has ranked first in the NFL in points scored after 4 weeks. They've averaged nearly 400 yards of total offense in 3 of their first 4 games.
Hey.
Of course, that game 3, which I call it a fluke, which is how I don't know how the hell Philadelphia restricted them to 219 yards of total offense. They're 9th in total yardage. So, the best way for the Saints. What is the one thing that we just talked about earlier, Anand?
Run the football.
Exactly. When you have the run game going, you got the play. It sets up play action. And now, this is where it gets interesting because this Saints offense has facing an underrated Chiefs defense. They're ranked 15 in total yardage and 7th in points allowed. Remember, Kansas City gets a lot of their points because of my boy from the Texas Tech University, Pat Mahomes. So, by the way, won his bet against Travis Kelce's Cincinnati Bearcats, so Wreckham Tech, 44-41 in the Big 12 opener. Dear Lord. And Travis Kelce in the New Heights podcast, he had to put on Raider Red's head.
Oh,
it was beautiful. Wreckham Tech, baby. However, I think but one thing we could talk about is that Chiefs defense. I don't know. See, Steve Spagnuolo, you could say man coverage, you could say press. I call it the swarm because that's what it is. Everyone goes after the ball. I don't care if I don't care if it's Chris Jones. I don't care if it's even Trent freaking McDuffie. Those and Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton, their best linebacker out of the tree. No, not Drew Tranquil. I'm talking about Nick Bolton. Just amazing. But now the question for the Saints is, what do you do to stop Alvin Kamara? What do you do, Anand? I'll tell you. The New Orleans has averaged, did you know that they've averaged 147.5 yards per game on the ground through the first 4 contests? They're ranked number 7. However, the Saints are only 18th in yards per carry, 4.3. But they have the most rushing attempts. And of course, Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is leading the NFL with 536 yards from scrimmage, 362, and NFL high 5 touchdowns in the ground. He has at least 77 rushing yards in all 4 games. So if I am the Saints, and especially with your offensive line getting banged up, I just looked at the injury report. As of now, what's limited is their right guard, Cesar Ruiz. No, their center, Cesar Ruiz, or the right guard, he's on IR. Shane Lemieux, and I believe he is on. I need to pull up the. 1 second. I'm pulling up the injury report for the Saints and Chiefs, which will really, really help me out. Give me 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. My computer is running super slow. Thank you, Spectrum, for that. I'm guessing, no, my internet is in North Korea mode. I think that's my favorite country of the game. And oh my God, I got breaking the Makidar news. The Bucks have blocked a field goal attempt by on the Falcons, 30-27.
No, Younghoe Koo.
I think it's going to be Youngway gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I do not have the latest injury report, but I can say right now their offensive line is banged up. But the best way you can help a banged up offensive line, running the football. Have you need to give more effective touches for Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill, who is their second leading rusher. Basically, the go-go gadget player who I don't know. I still hate him because he can throw, he can pass, he can run. He could pass, he can run, he can catch. Unfortunately, he's not going to be. I don't think he'll be available. But you also need to have Jamal Williams involved. I mean, he's just only had 23 carries, but definitely use him for short yardages. But Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave, those are going to be like their only two weapons. And like, okay, the Chiefs can try and match up. I think you would put like Trent McDuffie or have another. Who's their other corner? For the Chiefs to go up.
Justin Watson
And Trent McDuffie, they can easily try and match up. But I would not be surprised if the Saints try and go more of the jet sweeping option just to keep the Chiefs' defense guessing. But now, again, now Eric McCoy, their center for the Saints, he's on IR. Cesar Ruiz, right guard, he missed last week with a knee injury, so he's limited. And then, of course, you got practice squad Shane Lemieux, who's now their guard, who's now the new center. Landon Young has stepped in for Ruiz, but he's been okay. And, of course, the biggest weakness is going to be Trevor Penning at that right tackle spot. Yes, he's inconsistent pass protection, but run blocking. And then Talis Fuaga and Lucas Patrick, when they run through them. But then again, Kansas City, they're ranked 8th against the run in 4 weeks. Only average surrendering 99 yards per game average. And after giving up that big game against the Ravens, they've only allowed 70 yards in the last 3 outings. And if you want to talk about the guy, Leo Chanel, Drew Tranquil, and Nick Bolton. The reason why those guys are so good, they're powerful and they are fast linebackers, side to side. This is what you want. This is why Sting Spagnuolo loves this. I mean, Derek Nundy, Mike Pennell, and Tershawn Watson. Don't forget Carl Loftus and Anudike Uzoma and Mike Dana. And, Chamari Corner, who's been playing backup with Trent McDuffie. Damn, that's so fun to watch. I mean, they're going to try. They have to force Derek Carr to throw the ball. Saints defense versus Chiefs offense. I mean, there's so much they could do. Chiefs are only averaging 23 points per game compared to Saints D allowing 17.5. They'll be seeing a familiar face in Willie Gay on defense and Honey Badger himself, Tyrann Mathieu. So Matthew may have some idea on how to stop Pat Mahomes, but then again, we did talk about big spots. No Rashee Rice, no Isaiah Pacheco. They did get back Kareem Hunt, but if I'm the Chiefs, the Saints defense is very, very opportunistic. But when they lost that run game against the Eagles, especially with Saquon Barkley, and against the Falcons with Bijan Robinson, if I'm the Saints, use Kareem Hunt and that offensive line, ground and pound, and Mahomes can do whatever bullshit he does. It's stupid. And then I'm going to say this. This could be a game in which we see Xavier Worthy have a breakout performance. Because if Travis Kelce's not getting enough targets, Xavier Worthy has to step up. And if he doesn't, are you really sure about this? But then again, Saints have only allowed opposing runners 84 yards per carry, but they've allowed 1,009 passing yards. Only 1 passing touchdown, though. So it's all based on strengths that I'm seeing. And if I'm the Chiefs, run the damn ball with Kareem Hunt. Trust Kareem Hunt. You have one of the best offensive lines, and then Patrick Mahomes will do some bullshit. That's all there is. And my prediction is going to be really, really hard. As much as I like the Saints offense that's been emerging thanks to Clint Kubiak, I don't know if this defense can find a way to stop Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, the evil empire.
I think the Chiefs will win this game 27-20, and plus it's going to be an Arrowhead.
Even if the defense tries and stops? It just
Even.
with the ferocity and roughness that the Saints defense plays, the refs
Yeah,
are just going to easily target the Saints
they got the
defenders.
flags ready, baby.
Get the flag, arm ready, do some
Oh,
rotator cuff exercises.
oh, and you know what? I would like to have this for any Chiefs game. I want to put the flag bet, meaning how many flags over under. And let's make a prediction. I say the Saints are going to get penalized over 8 times. I'm betting the over on this one.
15.
15. You got the over.
That's my bet. 15. Alrighty. Well, that's going to be it for us today. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcasts on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Cast, or send us an email at nflmasala@gmail.com, spelled as NFL MASAL at gmail.com. Or Rakshak.
You can also find us on YouTube. That is at NFL. That is NFL Masala. So make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and also send us any questions that you got. Also, we can also be spotted on Instagram,
Twitter.
Twitter/X. We're forgetting things now on it. It is at NFL MASA 2022, all lowercase, at NFL MASALA 2022. Also, want to give a shout out to my boys, the Swoop Boys podcast, for talking Eagles football. And oh my God, we just got breaking the Buccaneers news. The Bucks have just fumbled the ball right now. The Falcons have recovered it.
Oh no!
Kaden Ellis has recovered the ball. Bucky Irving just fumbled, baby.
Dang. Alrighty. So we're gonna hit you now with our signature outro. Go Pack, go.
And fly, Eagles, fly. Take care and have a good night.